Hello everyone, Lissa here, and welcome to the Astrology chat channel. This video is dedicated to Scorpio at the early degree placements. So in your natal chart, take a look at the planets, and if you have any in Scorpio, see if there's any 0, 1, or 2 degrees. And as the introductory video that I recommend you do watch talks more about these early degrees, so you'll have a better understanding of how they affect you in the natal chart. So people have that stereotypical idea in their head of the different signs. So for Scorpio, a lot of the traits that are common that people think of are perhaps a mysterious or resourceful, passionate person. They're often a strongly caring person. Their emotions run deep. So they may have a jealous side, or they can be manipulative when they have harsh angles or degrees that aren't complemented in their chart. Scorpios love facts. They love the truth. And they'll question things to make sure that they have that proper knowledge. And they'll put themselves into any task that they try to tackle. They'll dive into it completely to find all the knowledge, turn every stone. So they generally dislike dishonesty and superficial people. So understanding these basic facts about Scorpio, let's take a look at some of the possible early degree placements that you could have. Say you had an early degree Scorpio in Mars. That toddler-like behavior that we discussed in the introductory video. So think of that young, unharnessed Scorpio energy that this person's new to, and how a toddler might react in an argument. Maybe they don't know all the facts, so they're just developing that Scorpio investigatory trait. So they really don't know all of the facts yet. So they bring that Scorpio stinger out, and that Scorpion's they're gonna hit before they realize all the information. Because in general, that Scorpio detective, they're not easy to win an argument with because they've got the undercover information before they present it to you. But again, these early degrees, they're a little underdeveloped, so they could go into an argument too soon, or they could go in without all their facts. So that might be something you'd see with that Mars energy. Consider that same placement now in a Venus planet. And a relationship with a Scorpio, especially those early degrees, 0, 1, and 2, you can have that reactive response to things because remember, these early degrees are that childlike behavior, but Scorpions expect trust, faithfulness, honesty, kindness as they would give to others. So in this placement where you have the relationships with any Scorpio, honesty is the best policy. Because while Scorpio is kind, forgiveness might seem attainable for a Scorpio, but again, at the back of their mind always lies beneath. When they look into your eyes, they will still see what you've done, that unforgivable thing. And depending on the Scorpio, they're either plotting revenge or they're just reliving it over and over in their brain and not letting that situation, letting it go. So true forgiveness from them is going to be very difficult because of that dishonesty component that's in them by nature, let alone these early degrees. So you might receive an apology from that Scorpio, even if it's not their fault because they're kind. But it'll be that childlike, obligatory apology that a parent might make a child, like, now say you're sorry. And they're looking at you and I'm sorry. But that deep down, relationship that you had with that Scorpio is not going to be the same. So don't mistake that childlike innocence, though, in that relationship for weakness, because Scorpio is a strong sign. They're a fixed sign. And they will respond in a big way when they're betrayed. So you want to be kind to your Scorpios in relationships. Suppose Mercury was in an early degree of Scorpio. They could be chatty and friendly and outgoing to everyone, their family, friends, strangers even. But these unharnessed early degrees can bring out anger or hostility sometime in communications with Scorpio, because again, they could feel threatened or deceived in that communication in any relationship. So they may need to vent loudly or express that hurt that they feel and try to make you understand that energy. And in all likelihood you won't, because they have that depth of that 8th house energy that's the bottom of everything they need to get to, and it's just difficult. So they'll be passionate anytime they speak, if they're excited about something, or if they're betrayed. Like I said, that's a different non-hospitable situation, but generally Scorpio is friendly and outgoing, and they enjoy talking to people, whether written or oral communication. They're a good educator, author, songwriters. because they just have that gift with Mercury for communication. Now, in these early degrees, they could fall short in public speaking. Maybe they're just too apprehensive, or you won't see them center stage singing in a rock band because they're just not that concert kind of person. They don't want to be that center stage. Or a politician where they might be telling falsehoods. So it's not really a place that you would see that early Scorpio energy. They're very receptive to communication and also to deception. So they'd likely not find happiness in those rock star or politician kind of center stage occupations. Let's see what else we have. Uranus, we can consider the early degrees there. It could create some stress and anxiety issues for Scorpio when unexpected events arise. It doesn't mean they won't be up for the event. It just means there may be some social anxiety or last-minute plans they'd like to iron out because they like to know in advance and have that set schedule when things are happening. One, what goes back to that uncovering the information. They like to know what to wear and where they're going to be and who's going to be there, and they like that knowledge based on things. So it can create unexpected events for Scorpio in inconvenient ways. Also, like if someone breaks last minute plans, it could really anger the Scorpio because they're disappointed and they did put effort into, planning the right day or finding the information out. So that toddler childlike behavior might come out in these early degrees in a negative way because they did put that effort forth and they would appreciate, more notice than a last minute plan breaking. So that Uranus kind of upsets that a little bit there. But they would make good counselors and good friends because they understand the concepts, how to deal with social anxiety situations or anxiety in general. So there's a bonus to that, even the early degrees there. Now, Neptune in the early degrees of Scorpio, substances, what we know Neptune is about substances and drugs and alcohol and things of that nature that can be detrimental to people with Neptune in these early degrees. It can create additional problems for them. Even in certain transits, the medication and substances need to be monitored properly and with care because Neptune is also spiritual and dreamy and illusions and creative. So you really have to just harness in that energy and double check things like what you're taking, even if a doctor prescribes it. That Scorpio can have a reaction or just have mix-ups in medication and things like that. So substances should be avoided at all costs when them early degrees especially, because it's just a difficult placement for the Scorpio. They can be fantastic creative people in all of the arts, writing, creative writing, creating anything with their hands, any kind of craft idea or art or painting. They're just very emotional and can bring forth that energy into their work. So it's also cathartic for them, especially in these early degrees, because they haven't harnessed that full Scorpio energy yet. So think of that toddler in this situation where they might be calm by singing in a stressful situation or coloring or something like that can help out tremendously. And now we can cover Jupiter at the early degrees of Scorpio. So this expansive energy that Jupiter has, it can make situations for the Scorpio more emotional, more creative, more anxiety, more deep feeling, more love. Or if they have some difficult placements with it, it could make them bury things deeper and under the surface and not really truly let the people know who they are or see the real version of themselves. So they can hide in the depths of their own pain. Even their creativity can be hidden, and then they'd be apprehensive to pull that out, maybe for criticism or just not letting someone in. So if they're involved in any kind of chemical substances or dark aspects that are gambling or drinking or anything, that could be hidden or concealed in a relationship too. So that's a challenging aspect, but again, a great one for counselors and therapists and writers, just because they're feeling that deeply. And as we're talking about the feeling planets, we'll hit the moon as well. That's our final placement we'll cover for Scorpio. And it's the person's emotional focus. Okay, so having that early degree here of 0, 1, and 2 can give a wide range of emotions for a person. Extreme ups, extreme downs, success one day, failure the next, happy today, sad an hour later. You name it, that roller coaster of emotions that Scorpio has to deal with, either on the surface or deep down within, again, if they're not sharing that with you and you don't know their true emotions. But this passionately feeling sign will be caring and devoted yet very deeply wounded. And they can be the exact opposite one moment to the next, especially with these early degrees in that moon. So another plus to this emotion might be their occupation. Like they'd be a good actor because they can turn that on and off quickly. Writer, and again, artistic endeavors, maybe educators because they would recognize this in others. So it's a challenging placement, but one that they can overcome, working through it, of course. And hope you enjoyed the Scorpio in the early degrees, and check back if you have any early degrees in other planets on the other videos. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.